Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, we are discussing about agriculture. Agriculture, it is a process of producing food, feed, fiber and many other desired products by the cultivation of certain plants and the raising of domesticated animals. Our country India, it is an agriculturally important country. Around 2/3 of its population is engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is a primary activity which produces most of the food that we consume. Besides food grains, it also produces raw materials for various industrial purposes. There are three types of farming: primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, and commercial farming. Let's discuss about all the three types of farming one by one. Primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming, it is still practiced in few parts of India. Primitive subsistence agriculture, it is practiced on small patches of the land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dhow and digging sticks. This type of farming, it depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil and suitability of other environmental conditions for the crops to be grown. So primitive subsistence is nothing but slash and burn agriculture. The farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops to sustain their family. But when the soil's fertility decreases, the farmers shift and clear a fresh patch of the land for cultivation. This type of shifting, it allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural processes. Land productivity in this type of agriculture is low, as the farmer does not use fertilizers or other modern inputs. It is known by different names in different parts of the country. The people in northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, they call this primitive subsistence farming as jumming. The slash and burn agriculture, which is jumming, it is also known as milpa in Mexico and Central America. Intensive subsistence farming. This type of farming, it is practiced in areas of high population pressure on the land. It is a labor-intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. Right of inheritance, it leads to the division of the land among the generations, and it has rendered land holding size uneconomically. The farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land in the absence of alternative source of livelihood. Thus, there is enormous pressure on agriculture land. Commercial farming. The main characteristic of this type of farming is the use of higher doses of modern inputs. Example, high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides in order to obtain high productivity. The degree of commercialization of agriculture, it varies from one region to another. For example, let's take rice. It is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab, but in Odisha, it is a subsistence crop. Plantation, it is also a type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. The plantation, it has an interface of agriculture and industry. Plantation cover large tracts of land using capital intensive inputs with the help of migrant laborers. In India, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, etc. are the important plantation crops. Cropping patterns of India. India has three cropping seasons: Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. Rabi crops are sown in the winter season from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. Some of the important Rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard. These crops are grown in large parts of India. Availability of precipitation during winter months due to the western temperate cyclones, it helps in success of these crops. However, the success of the Green Revolution in Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan has also been an important factor in the growth of Rabi crops. Kharif crops, they are grown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country and harvested from September to October. Important crops grown during this season are paddy, maize, jowar, bajra, etc. And some of the important rice growing regions are Assam, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra, particularly in the Konkan coast along with the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Recently, paddy, it has also become an important crop of Punjab as well as Haryana. In states like Assam, West Bengal and Odisha, three crops of paddy are grown in a year. These are Os, Aman and Boro. In between the Rabi and the Kharif season, there is a short season during summer months known as Jaid season. Some of the crops produced during Jaid are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables and fodder crops. Major crops. Major crops can be divided into four categories depending on their usage. Food crops, cash crops, plantation crops and horticulture crops. Food crops include wheat, maize, rice, etc. Cash crops include sugarcane, tobacco, cotton, jute, oilseeds. Plantation crops, it includes tea, coffee, coconut, rubber, etc. Horticulture crops include fruits and vegetables. Some of the major crops grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, pulses, tea, coffee, sugarcane, oilseeds, cotton, jute, etc. Rice is a staple food crop of a majority of people in India. Our country, it is the second largest producer of rice in the world after China. And rice is a kharif crop which requires high temperature, that is about 25 degrees Celsius. And it also requires high humidity with annual rainfall of above 100 centimeter. Rice is grown in the plains of north and northeastern India, coastal areas and the delta regions. Wheat. Wheat is said to be the second most important cereal crop, and it is the main food crop in north and northwestern part of the country. And this is a rabi crop. It requires cool growing season and bright sunshine at the time of ripening. It requires nearly 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall, and there are two important wheat growing zones in the country, that is the Ganga Satluj plains in northwest and black soil region of the Deccan. The major wheat producing states are Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan and parts of Madhya Pradesh. Millets. Jowar, bajra and ragi are the important millets grown in India. Though these are known as a coarse grains, they have their high nutritional value. For example, ragi is rich in iron, calcium and other micronutrients and roughage. Jowar is the third most important food crop with respect to the area and production. Bajra grows well on sandy soil and shallow black soil. Major bajra producing states are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Haryana. Ragi is a crop of dry regions and it grows well on red, black, sandy, loamy and shallow black soils. Major ragi producing states are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Jharkhand and Arunachal Pradesh. Maize. It is a crop which is used both as food and fodder, and maize is said to be a kharif crop and it requires a temperature between 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. It grows well in alluvial soil. Major maize producing states are Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Madhya Pradesh. Food crops other than grains. There are certain food crops, those which are not grains, but still they remain as a major crop. Sugarcane. It is a tropical as well as subtropical crop. It grows well in hot and humid climate with a temperature of 21 to 27 degrees Celsius and annual rainfall between 75 cm to 100 cm. Irrigation is required in the regions of low rainfall. Sugarcane is said to be the main source of sugar, jaggery, kansari and molasses. India is second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil. The major sugarcane producing states are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Punjab and Haryana. Oilseeds. India was the second largest producer of groundnut in the world after China. Different oilseeds are grown covering approximately 12% of the total cropped area of our country. Main oilseeds produced in India are groundnut, mustard, coconut, sesame, soya bean, castor seeds, etc. Groundnut, it is said to be a kharif crop and it accounts of about half of the major oil seeds produced in the country. Gujarat was the largest producer of groundnut, followed by Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. Linseed and mustard are rabi crops. Castor seed is grown both in rabi and kharif crop. Tea is said to be another major crop and it is an example of plantation crops. Tea is a most important beverage crop introduced in India initially by the Britishers. But today, most of the tea plantations are owned by Indians. The tea plant, it grows well in the tropical and subtropical climates which is endowed with the deep and fertile well-drained soil. The growth of tea plant, it requires a soil which is rich in humus and organic matter. Tea is labor-intensive industry. It requires abundant cheap and skilled laborers. Tea is processed with the tea garden to restore its freshness. Major tea producing states are Assam, hills of Darjeeling, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In 2014, India was the second largest producer of tea after China. Coffee. Coffee is a brewed drink which is prepared from the roasted coffee beans, the seeds of the berries from certain coffee species. The genes of the coffee is a native to tropical Africa and Madagascar. In the year 2014, India produced 3.5% of the world coffee production. Indian coffee is known in the world for its good quality. The Arabica variety initially brought from Yemen, it is produced in the country. This variety is in great demand all over the world. Initially, its cultivation was introduced on the Baba Budan hills and even today its cultivation is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Horticulture crops. It has been defined as the agriculture of plants mainly for food materials, comfort and beauty for decoration. Horticultural crops includes vegetables, fruits and nuts which are directly used by man for food. The flowers and other ornamental plants for aesthetic uses or visual enjoyment and those used for medicinal purposes. In the year 2014, India was the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. India is a producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. Horticulture also includes plant conservation, landscape restoration, soil management, landscape and garden design, construction and maintenance. Non-food crops, which is also known as industrial crop. It is a crop grown to produce goods for manufacturing, for example, fiber for clothing rather than food for consumption. Rubber. It is an equatorial crop, but under certain conditions, it is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. It requires moist and humid climate with a rainfall of more than 200 cm and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Rubber is an important industrial raw material and it is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. In the year 2012 and 13, India ranked 4th among the world's natural rubber producers. Cotton. India is believed to be the original home of the cotton plant. Cotton is one of the main raw material for cotton textile industry. In the year 2014, India was the second largest producer of cotton after China. Cotton grows well in drier parts of black cotton soil of Deccan Plateau. It requires high temperature, light rainfall or irrigation. Major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Fiber crops like cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are the 4 major fiber crops grown in India. The first 3 are derived from the crops grown in the soil and the latter, that is the natural silk, it is obtained from cocoons of the silkworm which is fed on green leaves, especially the mulberry trees. Rearing of silkworm for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. Jute. Jute, it is also known as a golden fiber. Jute grows well on well-drained fertile soils in the floodplains where the soils are renewed every year. It requires high temperature during the time of its growth. West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya are the major jute producing states. Jute is mainly used for producing gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets and other artifacts. Due to its high cost, it is losing market to synthetic fibers and packing materials, particularly by the nylon. Impact of globalization on agriculture. Agricultural land, it has been taken, or we can say that it has been encroached for development of industries. Because of globalization, the competition in agriculture sector has increased. US has got many of India's high earning agricultural products patent in WTO, World Trade Organization, like basmati rice, turmeric powder, etc. And that's why you need to pay US government for their production. FDI, foreign direct investment, it was introduced in industrial and service sector, but agriculture sector, it was kept protected and hence capital formation in agriculture is negligible. Though Green Revolution was introduced, but it was limited only to Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. Other areas which are dependent on agriculture are still backward and monsoon dependent. See you in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.